and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing another get ready with me / first impressions video for all of you guys. Recently I did an Ulta haul. They were having 20% off, so I picked up a couple things that I was interested in. I picked up a couple of things that you guys recommended, and then just a couple things that were brand new. So instead of just using it out and then giving you guys my feedback, I thought I would kind of do a first impression so you guys can see my initial reactions, my thoughts to that, and so we can just get ready together. And I'll fast forward through the stuff that I don't have products for or that I have used before. Anything new I will be showing you on camera. So give this video a thumbs up if you guys like first impressions videos. Leave it down in the comments below what other videos you guys want to see from me next. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date whenever I post new videos, and make sure you are turning on the little bell and the notifications options, because that way you will be notified as soon as a new video is up. So let's just jump straight into the video. I'm just going to take my Inglot eye makeup base. This is an 01, and I'm just going to use this to prep my eyelids. So moving on to the eyes, I like to do my eyes first. I'm going to be going in with the Makeup Revolution Naked Chocolate Palette. I actually do really like the shadows of this. In my haul, I kind of mentioned to you guys that I did use it, but all of these shadows so far have been very good. They blend very nicely. They're not the most pigmented shadows, but I would rather have something that blends nicely because I can always just build up color. Whereas if it's like crumbly, streaky, blends out completely and stuff, it's very hard to get it to work with whatever eye look you're going with. So I'm just gonna dip into this first shade right here. It's just this like skin tone vanilla shade. And I'm just going to set my eye base with that. Next, I'm going to go into this eyeshadow right here. It's just more of a lighter vanilla shade, like a cream shade. And I'm going to use that to highlight my brow bone. One thing I do have to note about this palette is that although they do have a nice range of colors, I don't think they have a very good transition shade here. They do have these two right here, but they are a little bit darker still and more like taupey kind of colors. Today I'm going to go for a little bit more of a cranberry or warm look, so I think it should be okay. I'm going to first dip into this shadow right here, and I'm just taking a BH Cosmetics blender brush, and we are going to dust this into our crease. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's just like a warmish kind of brown shade. So I'm gonna take that on a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'm gonna work this in the outer V and then take it into the crease a little bit. One thing I've noticed about these is that when you dip into them, they do have kickback in this palette, and cap it to get excess product off. A lot of the product does come off, so that's what I'm saying, that they're not the most pigmented, but again, I would rather have something that blends out nicely, builds color nicely, than extremely pigmented, because I can always go back in and build up that color. If it's like you can't blend anything out, it's a lot harder to create a look you're going for. And the reason I do like back and forth, and if you can see my hand, it's literally all wrist. The reason I do that is because I really want to define my crease, because I have kind of hooded eyes and like almost no crease. So that's why I do that. And then in between every time I apply eyeshadow, I always just take my brush and blend out just to make sure there are no harsh lines. So I'm going to jump back into the palette, and now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's like a dark brownish with like a hint of like cranberry in it. It's like a really deep brown kind of wine color. So I'm going to stick this in the outer V, and then again do the same thing, work it into the crease. So I start with the outer V to deposit the most product in there, then blend out, just like in small little circles and like flicking motion. And then from here, then I'll start working this into the crease area and staying very isolated, just kind of moving my wrist back and forth. I'll take my blending brush, and then I'm going to go back into this shade just a little bit so we can really kind of soften up the edges and just blend everything together that isn't blended. So now going into a new product I haven't tried. This is from Naked Cosmetics, and I actually got this in a boxy charm, and it looks just like this. It's a little compact with 3 different shades. I'm going to dip into this cranberry shade here, and then I'm going to apply that all over my lid. Pretty pigmented, and the shadow itself isn't kicking up an absurd amount of fallout, and it packs on color pretty nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to go back in with my brush and just kind of darken it up in this outer area a little bit. Really nice shade so far. I'm gonna go into this shadow right here. It's like a rose goldy shade. And then just with my finger a little bit, I'm gonna just take a smidge and dab this on the center of the eye. It's just gonna make it pop a little bit more in the center. So far this is a really good little palette from Naked Cosmetics. I'm not sure if you can get it on the BoxyCharm website or Naked Cosmetics website. I will put a link down below for you guys if I can find it, or at least the shade that I use. You guys can pick it up if you're interested. So before I move on to the face, which is where I have the most new products to show you guys, I'm just quickly going to do my eyeliner and lashes. For my liner today, I'm going to use the matte liquid liner from NYX Cosmetics. And then for my lashes, I think I'm going to use the Eyeliner and Nicole Guerrero Casually Glamorous Lashes. So I will be right back to show you what that looks like once I'm done. So I went ahead and finished off my liner and lashes off camera. I also primed my face. I used Hard Candy Sheer Envy Coconut Water Primer Stick. I've been using this for quite some time and it has quickly become one of my favorite products, but that's not new. I've been using it for a while. And I also use the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer just to smooth out any texture and any pores that I had on my face. So moving on to foundation and foundation tools, I do have two new products that I want to try out for you guys. Today I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD Foundation. I've heard so many people rave about this foundation and it's not new, but it is new to me. I picked up the shade Warm Beige, so we're gonna see how it matches my face. To apply that, I'm going to be using the NYX Flawless Finish Blending Sponge. So that is what the case looks like. And this is what the sponge looks like. As you can see, it has like a slant on the side right there and it's rounded at the bottom. So it's kind of similar to the Real Techniques complexion sponge, except it's rounded like a beauty blender. And I don't know if you guys can see, but it does have kind of like a line that goes around it. I don't know why that is. Maybe the textures are different at the top, at the bottom. I don't know. So this is it dry, and I have a bowl of water here. So I'm just gonna dunk it in and see how much it grows. And even like when I push it in the water, it still feels a little bit harder than like a beauty blender. So like it's not as squishy. I still have to push down a little bit more and use more force. So this is what it looks like once it's wet, and it is pretty squishy, but it's definitely not as squishy as like the L'Oreal blender or like the beauty blender. So it's just a little bit stiffer, but who knows, it maybe work out better. And right off the bat, I can tell, and you can even see the foundation, it is more of a liquidy foundation. So I wonder how the coverage is gonna be on this, because typically I like more of a full coverage. It is a little bit, I feel like it's pulling a little bit yellow and orangey kind of, at least on my face. Maybe I went a little dark. It's a little darker for me, so I'm going to mix it in with a different foundation here, but I just want to give you my first thoughts. So it's not so luminous as I thought. It looks more of like a satiny kind of finish. The coverage is pretty good. So I have the same amount of redness here as I do normally here on my bare skin, and I did a pretty good job about covering it. You can see a little bit of like the texture that I have here, but it's not anything crazy. The sponge is doing a pretty good job about blending everything out. Like I said, it is harder than the beauty blender. And one thing I do have to note is that, like I said, this is the shade Warm Beige, and I feel like it pulls a lot of like, it's weird because it is kind of warm because it pulls orange, but I feel like it's also pulling a lot of yellow too. So far, I have to say that it does give pretty good coverage. I had to go in maybe like 1.5 pumps, which usually is the standard with like most foundations, most like full coverage foundations. So I would say that this is a pretty good coverage foundation for sure. I'm going to be using this one from Bobbi Brown. This is the Tinted Eye Brightener, and this is in light to medium peach number 7. I'm going to use this side. I don't think it really did much. So this is an eye tint, but I'm not sure what that means. Like, is that supposed to be like a light coverage kind of thing? It's really nice on the eye. It's not like heavy at all. Blends out really nicely, but I feel like it didn't cover as well as I wanted. I have another concealer here too that I haven't used. This is from Milani. This is the Retouch and Erase Light Lifting Concealer, and I'm going to use the shade Too Light. So this is the one that has like the dopper on there. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit. Ooh, very eye brightening for sure. Blends out nicely. This is a very brightening concealer for sure. I can see why it says light lifting. I don't think that this one is also pulling like the amount of coverage like the Shape Tape would, or like the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I can still see a little bit right here of my dark circles, and I think it's easy to blend out, but I feel like it's almost like, yeah, it's like a little bit tacky. I feel like, do you see here? I feel like it's kind of emphasizing the wrinkles a little bit that I have in my under eye area, and other concealers that I have don't do that. Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling this one. Let me zoom you guys in so you guys can see. See right here, it's like the little lines and the little wrinkles that are happening. That does not normally happen with other concealers. So I think it is a tackiness because I could still feel it right here. With the Bobbi Brown, it wasn't accentuating that as much as it is now. I like that it is eye lifting, and it does give a good amount of like color and lift, but I'm definitely not a fan of how it made my under eyes look. Yeah, they just look wrinkly. You're done with that concealer. So to set my under eye area, I'm going to use this from LA Colors. This is the I Heart Makeup Contour Palette. I've heard tons of people rave about this one. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to mix this yellow shade and that vanilla shade, and then I'm going to use the Morphe M438 and use that to set my under eye. You do get a lot of fallout with this palette right off the bat. Hopefully makes my under eye look nice. And I'm still stuck on this freaking concealer. The powder's nice. It feels lightweight on the skin, and I don't think that it's emphasizing any lines. I think it's that other concealer. So I'm just going to set the high points of my face as well. For the sponge, it worked pretty well. I mean, it got the job done. I do prefer the Pro Beauty Blender because I feel like it's squishier and it just gets the job done a lot faster, but I'm not mad at that one. That's a pretty good dupe or equivalent, especially if you're on a budget. That might be something you want to look into. Then I'm also going to take this palette and try to bronze and contour with it. So I'm going to take this shade right here and I'm going to bronze my face. It's a good shade. It's not so warm and it's not so cool. And it's blending out pretty nicely. It's giving us a little bit more of that bronziness. I'm going to take this side and I'm going to dip it into this yellow shade, and I'm just going to kind of carve this out a little bit. And then to contour a little bit, I'm going to go back into that palette and use this shade right here. It's a nice taupey brown, but it's actually not like too, it doesn't look too ashy, at least in the pan. And I'm going to contour my nose a little bit with that. So whatever excess powder. Okay, so that finishes up the face, and so far this palette is pretty good. The formula, like I said, is very nice. It's very smooth, doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and I think this is a nice shade range if you are anywhere from light to medium. Otherwise, I do know that they have a medium to dark palette, but so far I'm really liking this palette. It's very good, and I think this was maybe $5.99, something like that. It was definitely under $10. A really good contour palette. So now for my blush, I'm going to try this one from Essence. This is the Satin Touch Blush. This is in the shade 20 Satin Love, and that is what that looks like. It's a nice shade. It's like a pinky shade, like a pinky beige shade. It gives a good amount of color. It's not crazy pigmented, but it does give a good amount of color to the cheeks. Now for highlighter, I have two. I think I'm going to try this one. This is from Revlon. This is their Peach Glow Highlighting Palette, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to try just dipping into this top part right here. These two strips right there. It does give a nice little glow, but it's not anything too crazy, and I think it's because it may be a little, yeah, too dark for highlight. It gives a nice glow. Doesn't emphasize any texture, so looks pretty nice, but I think I'm gonna go over with the Makeup Revolution Strobe highlighter. This is in the shade Gold Attic. Some of that on top. Oh yeah, that gave it more of that highlight glow. Ooh, that's pretty. Highlight the Cupid's bow. And you know, this one's a really pretty color if you're my complexion or a little bit deeper because it is a true kind of gold. But I am seeing here that the formula of this, although it's very smooth, maybe a little bit drier because it is emphasizing a little bit of texture that I have here. I'm gonna go finish up my eyes and then we will be back to do the last first impression, which would be the lips. The last product I have to try out for you guys is another one from Makeup Revolution. This is the Retro Luxe Matte Lip Kit. It intrigued me because it reminded me a lot of the Kylie Cosmetics lip kits, so I wanted to see if this was very comparable or if not the same thing. I got the shade Echelon. It does come with 2 products. It looks just like a nudie pink kind of shade, and then you do get the lip pencil right here, and the lip pencil actually looks different than the lipstick. This one looks more of like a darker kind of dusty rose. It actually looks lighter than the cap. It's right there. And the liquid lip looks darker than in the tube. So that is the liquid lip and that is the lip pencil. So far the lip pencil is very smooth gliding on. This actually does remind me of the Kylie lip pencil. She has really good lip pencils, but it also reminds me of the Huda Beauty lip pencils. Those glide on so nice. So far that lip pencil is amazing. So now let's try the liquid lipstick. Okay, so now that I've applied the actual like matte lipstick, I don't think I'm gonna be wearing this for much longer. When you apply it on, it's like a kind of whipped formula. It's not as whipped as the Ofra ones, but it's not a true liquid lipstick. And then like do you guys see that like my lips are stuck together? And I could totally tell all the like little wrinkles and the little spots, any fine lines that I have. I feel like it's almost like even bleeding a little bit on the outer part. So this I'm definitely not a fan of. You can definitely feel it on your lips and it's not as smooth as the Kylie Cosmetics one. Okay, so that is it for today's video. Leave it down in the comments below if you guys had any questions or follow-up questions, anything you noticed about any one of these products. Also leave it down in the comments below if there's anything out there that's new that you guys are curious on, you'd like a review on, or stuff that you're trying that's really working for you guys. I want to know. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff is going to be linked down below for you guys, as well as coupon codes to help you save some money. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.